I want to believe you, honey. Oh, Daddy, you can. I'm not pregnant. Honest. Not even a little bit. On May 7, 1999, Dana Plato walked into the Howard Stern show believing she had one last chance to be understood. She was 34 years old, broke, emotionally exhausted, and desperate to convince the public that she was not the person tabloids had turned her into. For nearly an hour and a half, she endured relentless questions about her past, her drug use, and the collapse of her career. Her voice trembled as she tried to explain herself. At one point, producers cut a lock of her hair on air for a drug test while she sat silently, stunned. She left the studio shaken but hopeful that she had finally told her truth. Less than 24 hours later, Dana Plato was dead. What she said in those final public moments revealed not weakness, but a lifetime of pressure she never escaped. Dana Michelle Strain was born on November 7, 1964, at Mission Hospital in Huntington Park, California. Her mother, Linda Strain, was only 16 years old and already caring for a toddler. Overwhelmed and unable to manage another child, Linda placed Dana for adoption when she was 7 months old. In June 1965, Dana was adopted by Dean and Florin K. Plato, a couple living in the San Fernando Valley. Dean owned a trucking company, and for a while, Dana's life was stable and comfortable. Yet even in that security there was an unspoken absence. She knew she had been adopted, and the mystery surrounding her biological parents quietly followed her through childhood, leaving a small but persistent ache. That stability fractured early. When Dana was 3, her adoptive parents divorced. She stayed primarily with Kay, who worked as a secretary and struggled to keep life steady amid frequent moves and financial strain. Kay was gentle, creative, and deeply drawn to the arts. She took Dana to plays and performances, believing creativity could shield her daughter from instability. Dana later described her childhood as living inside a plastic bubble, protected but unprepared for the real world. While that protection offered comfort, it also left her emotionally fragile and unsure of herself. From a very young age, Dana gravitated toward performance. As a toddler, she mimicked voices and gestures she saw on television. By 3, she was enrolled in dance classes and it was clear she had natural ability. She absorbed everything around her, studying movement, expression, and energy. By 7, she was auditioning regularly, walking into casting rooms with a confidence that seemed far older than she was. Before long, she appeared in more than 100 commercials, selling everything from fast food to gasoline. She had an instinctive ability to cry on cue, charm a camera, and endure long hours without complaint. Industry professionals called her a secret weapon. Behind the scenes, however, emotional cracks were forming. Her father remarried and started a new family, leaving Dana feeling displaced and forgotten. Therapy began early. She expressed her pain through drawings, many depicting broken homes and isolated children. Even as her career flourished, feelings of abandonment followed her into every stage of life. At 5, she became serious about figure skating, training intensely and winning local competitions. For a time she dreamed of the Olympics, but acting gradually overtook everything else. At 10, she landed a small role on The $6 Million Man, which drew over 23 million viewers. Soon after, she starred in a television movie about a kidnapped child connected to the Bermuda Triangle. Audiences noticed her emotional depth, even when the projects themselves were uneven. By the late 1970s, Dana was working constantly. Her performances felt authentic because she drew from real pain. A 1976 episode of Family, centered on divorce, showcased her ability to handle heavy material with maturity far beyond her years. That performance opened doors to the role that would define her life. In 1978, at just 14, she was cast as Kimberly Drummond on Different Strokes. The show became an instant hit, and Dana was suddenly a teen star watched by millions. Kimberly evolved from a spoiled rich girl into a protective, compassionate sister. Dana brought warmth and conviction to the role, particularly in episodes tackling racism and abuse. One episode involving inappropriate attention from a teacher sparked national debate, putting Dana at the center of controversy before she was emotionally equipped to handle it. While audiences praised her bravery, the pressure mounted. Fame arrived faster than she could process it. Long shooting days, constant scrutiny, and the demand to remain perfect wore her down. At 14, she experimented with marijuana on set. By 17, prescription pills entered her life. Valium and painkillers dulled anxiety and fear, but dependence followed quickly. Though she earned tens of thousands per episode, she felt trapped by her image and the expectations placed on her body, behavior, and identity. In 1983, her life changed again when she became pregnant. Producers decided she no longer fit the show's wholesome image. Rather than addressing the situation honestly, the network quietly wrote her out, sending Kimberly to Paris. Dana's final episodes aired without explanation. She gave birth to her son Tyler in July 1984. Motherhood brought joy, but it also came with exhaustion, postpartum depression, and deep guilt. Her marriage soon collapsed, and she eventually lost custody of Tyler, a loss that devastated her. As different strokes ended, so did the safety net it provided. Roles dried up. Addiction deepened. Arrests followed. She forged prescriptions, was charged with DUI, and robbed a video store with a pellet gun. Each incident became another headline reinforcing the image of a fallen star. Though she entered rehab and attempted comebacks, the stigma never lifted. In the 1990s, desperation drove her into choices she later regretted, including appearing in an adult film to survive financially. Her relationship with Tyler suffered, though she loved him fiercely. In 1995, he found her overdosed in a hotel room and had to call 911. That trauma stayed with him for life. By 1999, Dana was exhausted and humiliated, but still hoping for redemption. The Howard Stern interview was meant to clear her name. Instead, it stripped her dignity in public one last time. On May 8, she was found dead from an overdose of prescription drugs. She left a note apologizing to her son. Dana Plato was 34 years old. Her son Tyler struggled for years with addiction and grief. In 2010, at just 25, he died by suicide. Their graves sit near each other, a heartbreaking reflection of generational pain. Today, Dana Plato's story is remembered not just as tragedy, but as a warning. Her life exposed the cost of child stardom without protection, the cruelty of public judgment, and the long shadow fame can cast. She was more than a headline, more than a stereotype. She was a child who grew up under lights too bright, and a woman who never stopped trying to be believed.